do some like wicked ass cool intro.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. Here.
You want it? You got it. Reality radio done right. No nonsense, real and raw, just like you like it.
He's corrupt, he's inexperienced, and he lies.
Broadcasting from a broom closet in the Arizona Lotus Studios, it's Beef Vegan Presents.
Here we go. Woo! All right, there you go. That's the podcast intro. We're live here. Please welcome back Mr. Herb Stratford. Hey, he's been gone so long, I'm not even miserable seeing him. That's
So maybe I should come less frequently.
No,
Less
no.
abuse?
no.
Right.
You got to come more often. I know as you get older, it's easy to come less frequently, but really, it's better for your health if you come more often.
There we go.
Yes. Welcome back. With Herb, we have so much to cover and catch up on because obviously all the year in review stuff, but as I was hyping up, for the podcast, I definitely want to talk about Egypt because how long were you on vacation with your wife in Egypt?
So we were in Egypt and Jordan for 2 weeks. So, because, you're going to go 7,000 miles away, you got to stick around for a little while, right?
Yeah. That would be worse. It was like just a 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
And then it's 3 days of travel, 3 days of being there, trying to recover.
Yeah.
Now, what's the time difference from Tucson and Egypt?
So Egypt is 9 hours and Jordan is 10 hours. So, it's like it's 9 o'clock at night and it's, like noon here in Tucson. So we were
Nice.
able to do a couple things. My wife had a couple of phone calls to make and, you're checking emails and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was not, I think when I went to Japan, I think Japan was 14 hours. So, I mean, that was a lot harder just because, you're totally a different, day.
Yeah,
So,
that's a whole new day. Like you're going in the future of the past.
yeah, I'm calling from the future. That's right.
Yes. Yeah, you're talking to me. I'm here on a Tuesday. You're talking to me on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Which is a trip. So I'm going to pull up your Instagram page real quick because I want to show some of these pictures as you were documenting some of it. Now, after it took you like a day or so to readjust to the time, you hit the streets, right? So
yeah. Oh yeah. No, I mean, and Cairo is 21 million people. I think there's 110 million in Egypt, but 21 million in Cairo.
Whoa.
Zero traffic control devices.
really, no like
street lights, no
stoplights.
stop signs. People are just driving, and then Egyptians just walk into the street. I mean, they don't even look. So I mean, it's terrifying.
Really?
Yeah. You're riding in the car. And it's nuts. So Egypt is a very interesting place. And honestly, it's a little dirty and smoggy, and because I mean there's a lot of people living there.
Okay, so there's a lot of pollution in this area.
Yeah, it's interesting. In Cairo there is, but then then we went down to Luxor, which is this sort of down the Nile. And everything it's cleaner. It smells better. You know what I mean? The air is good. It's a little cooler. I mean, not that it was hot. It was like 70 degrees. It was a perfect time to go.
Yeah.
So, and then, when you go over to Jordan, Jordan's cleaner, and they're very particular about this. So all the Jordanians are like, so tell us, why do you like Jordan better than Egypt? I'm like, well, did we say that already? And they're like, it's much cleaner. It's much nicer here, right? I'm like, okay, inferiority complex.
That's
So,
funny. So
yeah.
they knew.
Yeah.
Jordan's just like Egypt sucks. And wow. And this is you riding a camel, right?
Yeah,
Single
yeah,
hump or
yeah.
double hump?
Single hump. So it's a dromedary camel.
Okay.
Bactrian is 2 hump. Just a little fun fact for you.
Oh, nice.
And this is in Wadi Rum, which is the desert where I had to make a pilgrimage to because not only was Lawrence of Arabia and The Martian with Matt Damon filmed here, but also my beloved Dune has been filmed in Wadi Rum. So we went down to Wadi Rum, went on this sort of a off-road kind of tour. This Bedouin makes us tea in the desert, and then we're we went off on camels, and it was very, very cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah, being in Arizona, we're used to the desert and the dirt to a certain extent, but this is like barren landscape,
It's
right?
next level. Yeah, it's next level.
Did you feel like you were on a movie set while you're here? You're like literally in the land of Dune or the Tatooine or whatever?
A little bit. I mean, I tried to get the guy to take me to places where other things had been filmed, and he was just on his mission, and he was not going to go anywhere else.
He's like, no, fuck you, dude. You're riding the camel. I'm walking with it.
Yeah.
So we could go on my path.
He
He's
just
like,
went
you
wherever
don't-
he wanted.
You don't pay me enough.
Yeah, it was not a lot. So yeah, I mean, it was for the camel ride. It was 10 dinars, which is like $15. You know what I mean? Totally
Not
worth
bad.
it if you're going to do it. And then this is Petra, if anybody's watching.
It's amazing.
This is the place, Indiana Jones, the Last Crusade, right? Where, you know, he and his father are trying to find the Holy Grail. This is where they end up in Petra, which has sort of been on my bucket list too. It's this amazing Nabatean city in Jordan that was basically sort of lost for a long time, found again in the 1800s. Super cool, giant, you know, all just huge place, so many buildings, and you walk all over the place. We actually rode donkeys up to this one other area because it would have killed us to walk that far. It was literally like 1,000 steps straight up a mountain to get to this place.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is amazing. So the grand see again. I'm sorry. I'm a little fried.
English
So
is
you-
difficult today.
Thanks, weirdo.
You're welcome.
So, anyways, the grand scope of this has got to be overwhelming, right? You see something like this so massive and, you know, so old, but also so pristine in its condition.
Yeah, it's weird because like you see this stuff your whole life, like the pyramids. You're standing, you know, outside of the pyramids, and you're like, I've seen these my whole life, and they're like 5,000 years old, right? I mean, nothing in this country is more than 200 years old, right? So you're kind of like, oh, wow, this is really like, this is what old stuff is, but yet it's still there. It's remarkable.
Now, what's the backstory of this entrance into, I mean, this is a palace that's carved inside the mountain. I don't know if I've ever seen this before because I don't pay attention in school.
So this is the Nabatean culture was, they were like traders, and they lived in Jordan, and this particular route is called the Siq, S-I-Q, and it was the route that the caravans would come, and this was a route that only the royal caravans would be allowed to use. So it's like a slot canyon, you know, like you see the canyons, and you know, and so you'd have, it's like probably a little over a mile walk in, and you walk in through these sort of canyons to get, and then you come around the corner to the treasury, which is this building. They don't know really what the use of this building was. They've called it the treasury, but it's just a single room. So it's not like in Indiana Jones where you walk in and there's all these traps and, you know, whatever. So, and then there's other buildings, there's other tombs, there's other caves. There's still Bedouins living in caves. We met a guy who basically lived in one of these caves. He was doing tours and stuff with like his 3 kids, and he lives in a cave, right? And he never has learned, never gone to school. He knows German, English, and Arabic.
Damn.
Just because of touring people, right? He's picked up all these languages. So, so this place was abandoned, you know, at some point, and then it was rediscovered. But there was walls around. It was a very powerful sort of trading civilization. They had trade routes, and all the, you know, the camels and stuff. The caravans would go through this area, and that's how they made their money.
You're not just like a light tourist. You're like, I know the
Hardcore.
3,000-year history.
Well, you went there on an educational vacation to really, you know, learn about this up close and personal. Was there an energy that you felt in that area where you just like undeniable, or you were just kind of like, huh?
You know, no. I mean, you definitely feel something, but I mean, like, there's a lot of people there. I mean, not as many as I thought. Like, our guide showed us a picture from like the week before, and literally that area where you're seeing, it was wall to wall people, because there had been cruise ships that had docked in the port south of about an hour and a half south.
Right.
But so, like, you know, 1,000 people show up, and I was afraid of that. I was like, I don't want to come to this place and just be like,
overwhelmed.
You know, yeah.
And
And so I was really glad. And you go early, like, you know, you leave at like 7, so you get there when the sun is sort of hitting it. You know what I mean? So they got it all figured out. They know how to wow the tourists, you know. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, just walking
Gorgeous.
through that to see that, that's another. It seems like another planet.
that's a Crusader castle that we went to. You know, the Crusaders, of course, you know, when they were going back to the Middle East to try and take Jerusalem back from the Arabs, they built all these castles, and this is one of them at Carrick. Really cool castle that there's tons and tons of rooms you go through, and
I like all the little murder slots they got. So you can fire out.
that's actually what
arrows.
they're called, murder slots.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, see, I learned that. It's cool. What is this?
That is in Cairo, in Old Town. This is like an old a water cellars place that had all these incredible mosaics and tiles all over the walls and the ceiling. And this is from like you know, 800 AD.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, just overwhelming how much decorative, you know, detail there was in this room. It was just so cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and there's scripture on there too. So you know, what's the backstory of the message that was in the walls? Did
Yeah,
they
no,
tell you?
it's true. No, they didn't. But you know, it had been transformed into like a shop, so the guy was selling stuff in there. But it was a super cool place that was still there. This is in the Egyptian Museum, which they're actually moving a lot of it to a new Grand Egyptian Museum, which sadly is not open yet. But this is a mummy in one of the cases.
Oh,
And,
nice.
You know,
That's a close up of a mummy.
Super cool mummies everywhere. Tutankhamun's, you know, big funeral mask was there, and you know, it's really sad. You go into his tomb. in the Valley of the Kings. And Tut, right? I mean, all the gold coffins, all this crazy stuff. His mummy's just there in a plastic case, right?
Yeah.
Totally unwrapped, nothing, right?
Yeah.
It's like I went into this place with all my stuff, and here I am naked in a plastic case.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Really?
Well,
does
in
suck.
his tomb, they've made such a huge deal of it, but like his was actually one of the smaller ones.
It's tiny.
Like,
It's like 3 rooms.
Yeah.
No, and some of the other rooms are just absolutely amazing and just crazy decorated, and you have to pay extra to go into other ones. Totally worth it.
Well,
Totally
King
worth
Tut
it.
was like a teenager when he passed away, right?
He was 19.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he didn't really have that legacy. So yeah, it was kind of like a throwaway king. It's weird to see the mummy wrapping up close like that too, because that just looks like ties, or what are they called?
it looks real intricate.
Well, and then there's gold. They would find gold at different layers of the mummy that was protecting like little talismans and stuff. So
Wow.
very interesting. Strips of gold, different things. Yeah, there's lots of mummies in the museum. So, and lots of ghost stories. We were looking it up.
Looks like-
how can there not be?
Right, yeah,
Right.
that's true.
Right.
It looks like plumber's tape or something. Not plumber's rope, whatever. And this is just the city.
That's
this is
just Cairo,
Egypt,
just sort of getting a sense of, the haze
The pollution,
and how
yeah.
massive it is. And if you look real closely, you can see the pyramids in the background of that shot.
Right. And you said
Yeah.
21 million people in Cairo? Wow.
Yeah, and you
Damn.
think, well, what's Manhattan? 8 million? I mean, so it's
I've
That's
never even
giant.
been to Manhattan. I'm just thinking of
So-
Phoenix, which is about 5 million,
Yeah.
but 21 million.
Right.
So much.
At least they light up the pyramids.
Yeah, we went to sort of a touristy thing to go and do the night show, the light and sound show at the pyramids. But I was like, you know what? I got to do this because I remember it from a James Bond movie. And also another hour to sit there with the pyramids, and there's not as many people there because it's at night, and it was just super cool.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. Yeah, and with the sky above. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, what kind of music do they play in the background?
Oh,
Metallica?
it's no, no, they should. Yeah, they should. No, it's a very dated thing. But they light the Sphinx up, they light the pyramids up. They tell the story of the Sphinx having seen Napoleon and seeing everybody because it's
Mhm.
been there for so long. So super cool.
Damn, yeah, that's
Yeah, we're just
crazy.
over here living vicariously through
I
you.
know. Well, because I don't know if I'll ever in my lifetime be able to go to Egypt or the motherland, and the history there is very impressive to see all this. And you did a great job documenting it, to being a photo artist, if you will.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and it's been fun seeing that, even though I didn't like every picture you posted, but I'm liking them now.
No,
So
yeah,
if you're
you're-
getting notifications, that's me.
Yeah,
All right.
you've lived my 10-year-old like dream, because that's what I wanted to do as a kid, because Egypt was just
Oh,
so
yeah.
fascinating.
Me too. I wanted to be an archaeologist as a kid. So it's like this is the total bucket list trip.
Did people
you know?
treat you like an archaeologist? Because honestly, you look like you're an
You do.
archaeologist.
It's funny. There was a group at that last picture you were showing at the Temple of Hatshepsut, who is a woman who actually was king. So she would wear a fake beard.
Mhm.
Interesting. Maybe where that term came from. And so at that temple, there was these people who showed up looking like Indiana Jones. Like they had like these 1920s like outfits on with the pants that go, it's the knee, and the pith helmets. And it was like, come on, you know what I mean? You just look like idiots.
Nerds.
That's Herb Stratford talking about his trip to Egypt. We're going through the slideshow of his Instagram page. It's very fascinating stuff. And I'm Lisa. I'm proud of you for being the coolest wannabe out. God,
Archaeologist.
archaeologist out of the bunch. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Coming up next after Rise Against, we're going to be talking about movies. And of course, first and foremost, let's get this out of the way. What great movies are there coming out this weekend? What can we be excited about? Because it is a tradition for many during the holidays to go see a movie.
It is. You got to get away from your family, right?
Absolutely.
At some point, sit in a dark room for 2 hours. Yeah.
Or at least get a reason where you're hanging out with your family, but they don't talk for a couple hours, right?
Exactly.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
well, there are some good movies coming out. We're going to talk about that with Herb Stratford right after Rise Against Savior. Keep it right here. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. Clear. All right. So, archaeologist. Done. It's in me. And I mean, I know why. Two things. One, I'm wearing the beanie. And Todd has pointed out that I should be wearing my snapback because I just think quicker. And it's something about my head being warm that just slows me down. And two, one foot out the door, man. It's vacation time. And my vacation's really just me doing the holiday stuff. And then after doing the holiday stuff, it's 2 weeks off. Then I plan to prepare for the next year of the show. And here's how I do this. Here's a little peek behind the curtain. What I do is I get a sativa cart, right? Hit that. and then I pace around my backyard for hours on end, looking like a madman. I swear to you, this is what I do. This is creatively how I get things done. I come up with my ideas or envision, kind of like vision board stuff.
Yeah.
And I look like a maniac doing it. And my neighbors know this for a fact. And it's less awkward now that I'm in a house and not an apartment complex. But man, when I was in an apartment complex, I was the neighbor that people avoided talking to for sure.
Just
I'm
mumbling to yourself.
Fuck White Snake. We need to play new music. Stuff like that. So, all right. What are the movies that we're going to be talking about next as far as the ones that are being released this weekend?
So this weekend we've got Puss in Boots, right? So something for families, which is good to have something.
Okay.
Babylon, which is a complete total train wreck. It's the Damien Chazelle movie. He did La La Land, right?
Mhm.
And then Whiplash. This is his movie about Hollywood in the 20s. And I'll just tell you that it starts with an elephant crapping all over somebody. And then it goes within about 5 minutes, you've got a dwarf on a pogo stick that looks like a penis squirting confetti on everyone. So,
And what's bad about this
I
movie
was
so
going to
far?
say, tell me more.
Yeah.
Talk slower.
no, it's a 3-hour long just train wreck. Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt. It's just awful. And then Glass Onion, which is the
Netflix.
Knives Out movie on Netflix. Very good. And then also, Yellowstone, the 1923, the new sort of spin-off sequel series dropped this week. So
Is
first episode.
the Whale or the Steven Spielberg movie not coming out this weekend?
So the Whale is next weekend. Steven Spielberg is out.
That's out already.
Yeah. And I was very disappointed. I got to be honest with
Really?
you. And in the Fablemans, not a fan.
You know what? I'll tell you this too. Maybe Steven Spielberg himself jumped the shark. When was the last time he put out something that was actually great?
Schindler's List,
Right?
No, this is the year of indulgence, of self-indulgence. So there's a lot of movies. Damien Chazelle, Babylon, which we just mentioned. Spielberg's The Fablemans. Armageddon Time from James Gray. There's just these movies where auteur filmmakers have sort of been given a pass. And it's like, you know what? Your last movie was awesome. What do you want to do? And then they do something. You're like, maybe you shouldn't have done that.
Right.
So I'm feeling a little bit like there's some letdowns, but then there's still a few great things. Like The Whale is just a stunning movie.
Okay.
Well,
so
Brandon Fraser to come back.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's fantastic for Brandon Fraser.
Yeah.
And, so you got a sneak preview of that?
Yeah. I watched The Whale last week. Yeah.
Did you go up to a theater to see it, or did
No. They sent it. Yeah,
Nice.
They sent it because it's awards voting time, so they want to make sure we've seen everything. I've seen most stuff. I think Avatar I'm going to go see on Monday, but
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm definitely going to give James Cameron some of my money just to see it in the theater.
Yeah, no, you got to, and that's the thing. I wouldn't watch that at home. There's just no point. I did watch the first one on the plane coming back because I was like, oh, I should refresh my memory. So,
Yeah. I was tempted to do that too, but whatever. Maybe they'll do a 5-minute recap before they get into the movie.
I don't know. I mean, I was sort of like, oh, I remember some of this, but and then on the plane that it's like this big.
Right.
So
He's talking about watching Avatar again before watching Avatar 2. Welcome back to the show. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. That's film critic Herb Stratford. Now, it's a holiday tradition that studios release some movies worth taking your family out to see. So speaking of that tradition, we'll talk about the family film first. It looks like there's a sequel to Puss in Boots that's dropping.
Yeah, so this is called Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and again, Antonio Banderas is Puss in Boots. It's funny. This character showed up in Shrek 2.
Yes,
and he was the hitman that was hired, to take out Shrek, and who then, of course, became Shrek's friend, Shrek and Donkey. And so, he obviously was a huge hit, and so I think they were sort of like, we're going to keep playing this one. And finally worked back into Banderas' schedule. And now I hear rumor that they're talking about another Shrek, a Shrek 4.
I can see that only because Mike Myers needs the paycheck.
He needs help. Yes,
Right.
he does. Yeah. And not that Eddie Murphy does. Eddie's doing okay. But,
Eddie's doing fantastic. Well, Eddie did his full-blown comeback.
Yep.
Mike Myers is attempting to do so, try to correct course as far as the public image is concerned, because I think a lot of the reasons why he wasn't getting offered good roles or getting the financing to put out projects is because of the public perception of his attitude.
Yeah.
And he was becoming difficult to work with. And I think, that reputation went within the industry, so people did not want to work with him. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. And I think that's what happens. People get a little big for their britches, so to speak. You know what I mean? And they think they can do no wrong. And despite the Love Guru and everything else that he put out, which was just terrible, you think he would have had a correction. But, and now I hate it because he's talking about another Austin Powers movie. And I'm like, the third one was really not good. Don't go back.
Yeah, well, it just goes to show, everyone, not everyone, but there's a lot of artists kind of get creatively tapped out.
Yeah.
The well runs dry. And it sounds like that's the case. And it's unfortunate because, I'm a full disclosure. I'm a huge fan of Mike Myers growing up. I'm a child of Mike Myers and Wayne's World and everything on his Saturday Night Live. I mean, hell, I don't even think I'd be here today if I wasn't inspired by Wayne's World. My whole life emulates it. Got a whole bunch of hairnets and name tags to back that up. So we'll see what happens. So Puss in Boots is out. That's going to be a good family film.
Yeah.
And, I understand. It's an adorable looking character. It looks good on a plushie. So they're going to
and it's like it's got something. These movies always have something for the adults.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're funny. They're not just for kids. They're little inside jokes, and that's always worth it. 96% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that's true. And if you're a fan of Shrek, I can tell you something right now that will ruin the Shrek franchise for you.
Okay.
So you'll never be able to watch Shrek again. But it is a known fact that initially Chris Farley was cast as the role to play the voice of Shrek, right? The entire character, in fact, Shrek's body mold and everything is emulated from Chris Farley. It looks like a green Chris Farley. So next time you watch Shrek, just imagine if it was Chris Farley instead of that stupid Scottish accent that Mike Myers likes to do on everything.
Right. And he went back to re-record. They recorded the movie and went back because he had changed his mind and wanted to do the accent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
But I think I heard a soundbite of Chris reading lines for Shrek. And we could have had a Chris Farley Shrek, and maybe in a different universe, different timeline.
And maybe he would have lied. Maybe would have lived.
Yeah.
Maybe that would have got him to straighten up.
Shrek saves lives.
Yeah.
All right. So Puss in Boots coming out in theaters this weekend. What else is going on? What movie do we avoid that stars huge A-list actors?
It's called Babylon. So this is Damien Chazelle, who was the youngest guy to win Best Picture with La La Land, which is interesting, right? His first film was Whiplash, which was the great film with Miles Teller as the drummer. I don't know if you guys remember that film. And basically, he's sort of a wonder kid. He's a good filmmaker. He made First Man too, which was the movie after La La Land about the astronauts, which was sort of warmly received, but not a huge hit. Anyway, this is his story about Hollywood transitioning from silent films to talkies. So it's based on real people, right? Like real actors of the time.
Okay.
But they're not named who they are at the time. But Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, it's a 3-hour, 8-minute train wreck.
Dear Lord.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's really long. It's really, and I love this. I love this old Hollywood stuff because, I'm a big, movie palace guy and all that stuff.
Right.
And so I was really looking forward to it, and I was very disappointed, and it was just painful. It was just overindulgent, right? Somebody needed an editor, spent a ton of money, and just really not good.
Wow, that's disappointing because Brad Pitt was essentially making a comeback or doing his final victory lap before he retired.
Yeah, it's true.
I did read a story that he, kind of encouraged and convinced Margot Robbie to do a kissing scene with him for whatever reason.
She kissed him.
Oh yes,
and she said it wasn't in the script, but she was like, I wasn't going to waste the opportunity, so I just kissed him. And yeah,
kudos to Margot Robbie for that. It's not like she's doing great in picking her roles either. Unfortunately,
she's sort of hit or miss. And now the next big one is Barbie. I don't know if you saw the trailer. The trailer looks pretty good.
And people are excited about that. I don't get the hype, but yeah, that's
but you're not a little girl.
Yeah.
On the inside, that might be.
He is a little, but yeah. I mean, I saw I just saw some like press release photos, and it seemed like they were nailing it with the costumes and the kind of whole feel of it, which is kind of cool. The throwback to the original swimsuit, the black and white swimsuit.
Yeah, the stripes.
So, and then of course the rollerblades.
Whatever.
I think it's going to do great. I love Greta Gerwig as a director. I think she does a great job. I think it's not necessarily for you and me, right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
And that's okay. Not every movie has to be for white guys.
Oh, look at that.
I do like hot chicks, and I don't mean to come off like an ageist, but that's exactly what I am. I think Margot Robbie is about 10 years too old for the role of Barbie. Unless it's talking about Barbie's midlife crisis. I mean, I love Margot Robbie, but seriously. All right, we're going to keep the conversation moving on to podcast broadcast. You can join us, youtube.com/BeefVegan, or on Facebook @BeefVegan, or even on Twitch, or keep it right here because we got music on the way from Bush. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. clear.
Yeah, but look in here that Will Ferrell and Michael Cera's in it in the Barbie movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
so there
Will
might
Ferrell's
be-
been in tons of shit in the
Right.
past. Like, what was the last good Will Ferrell role? I mean, you didn't like that Ryan Reynolds Will Ferrell
it's
movie?
Terrible.
Oh, I wanted to see it.
It's awful. It's 2 hours and it's terrible.
All right. Well, thanks
Why
for
do I-
ruining that for me.
Whose audio
Yeah, I hear that.
What is playing?
It's not me.
Ulta Beauty gift cards. We have
It shouldn't be bleeding through. That's weird. Oh. What?
our kind of holiday.
Oh, weird.
You having your kind of holiday. Hurry to an Ulta Beauty near.
That should not be on that. Okay, whatever.
Ugh.
I fixed it. And am I messing up something on the FM side? Possibly. Last day of the year. Like, yee. Yeah, no, I would love to see Will Ferrell in something good again, but I don't know. And this Babylon movie seems like it's shit. It's too bad too, because the way he like presented it sounded amazing.
Yeah,
first-
well, and
Give me the first 5 minutes of elephant shitting on a person and a dwarf
Right.
on a pogo stick looking like a cock that's shooting out like confetti.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like, I'm throwing money at the screen.
Right. And I saw a small clip of Tobey Maguire in it, and he looks like he is just batshit crazy.
Oh my God, he is. No, that part is nuts. It's like this underground Hollywood club where there's all kinds of weird stuff going on. But it just, I don't know, it's just too much. It just keeps piling on, and you're just like, ugh. You're just like, I don't want to, like, okay, yeah, Hollywood was insane.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
3
I get
hours
it.
and
Yeah,
8
3
minutes.
hours.
You know, and that's because of streaming, and they think they can get away with it. But the reality is, nobody wants to sit in a theater for that long. Their ass goes numb. It's different
Well,
to see it at home.
And also, it's like if you're Cameron and your movie's 3 hours, well, you know what? That money's on the screen. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Right.
Like, you have to immerse yourself in that. This is just Hollywood, you know,
Yeah.
just decadence.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. And then the other movie that's going to come out that you are excited about.
Yeah, Glass Onion. So
Oh,
this
yes.
is the
This is
Knives
out now, right?
It is. Well, it was in theaters, and then it's dropping on Netflix this weekend. So they wanted to do a little run because the cast is insane, and they had to make it eligible for awards. They put it out in theaters for a little while.
Okay.
So this is the second film. They're trying to make a franchise out of this, which I think it might have legs. Knives Out was the first one,
Mhm.
right? Where Daniel Craig plays this sort of Southern detective, and he's figuring out this murder mystery. Well, this is the next one where he gets invited to Ed Norton's island. Ed Norton is sort of like an Elon Musk kind of guy. He's like a tech bro guy, has all this money, and he has all these friends who are sort of like jealous and mad about him, and how, you know, there's obviously something going on.
Right.
So you're trying to figure out who it is, right? Who's the person that is, you know, like that is trying to kill Ed Norton. And so Kate Hudson, who's one of my faves, she's in it. Dave Bautista, Janelle Monáe is great in it. It's a really, really well done. The writing is excellent, and it's just, you know, it's this great cast just chewing the scenery up. It's a lot of fun. Definitely something you could watch over the holiday. Have it on. You know, it's not going to offend anybody, but it's delightful.
Yeah. So is Janelle Monáe, is she kind of like the breakthrough Ana de Armas character in Knives Out? Because
I would say that's a good metaphor. Yeah, because I mean, you know, it's her. I don't want to spoil anything, but I mean, she's a really big part of this story. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Where the other people are there, but you know, it's more her story. So yeah.
my
definitely.
takeaway from Knives Out was this. I mean, first off, it's an excellent kind of just murder mystery classic kind of formula, right? Which is fantastic, like a whodunit. And that made it fascinating, but it did kind of like circle around or center around Ana de Armas in a way where she stole your heart. She's gorgeous in that. She's just undeniably charismatic and just stole every scene that she was in.
Well, and she's sort of in the background, right? You know, you're not thinking she's a maiden character, spoiler alert, but you know, there's a big part about that. You know, she's like this, you know, maid or, you know, medical assistant or whatever. It's not like she's one of the sexy roles. So,
Right.
yeah.
So in a way, when I hear Janelle Monáe, I feel like they're following the formula in a way. And Janelle Monáe, if you don't know who she is, she's a fantastic artist, a vocalist. So this is the first I've heard of her acting.
Yeah.
In a film. So to bring her in as a debut, it's probably because through screen testing, she probably had the same characteristics, the undeniable kind of it factor
Yeah.
that Ana de Armas has.
Yeah.
Because watching her perform, you kind of feel that way.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. I'm stoked, and I'm glad that it's on Netflix, that I could just watch it and watch it now before they yank my Netflix account away from me because I've been sharing the password. We
Yeah.
talked about that briefly this morning, but Netflix made the announcement that they are done. They're over it. and in the fall of 2023. So they give people literally like 9 months to get ready for this. So they don't feel like too much of a dick and the blowback, right? They're like, come on, guys, we're telling you, we're not gonna let you share. There's 100 million users that don't pay for Netflix. They only share somebody's account.
And you got to know that they understand not all those people are going to be, automatically signing up. You know what I mean? Like a lot of those people, this is not going to happen. So what is it? What, 20% maybe might actually convert?
I think 10%. I think 10% will buy. I mean, unless they drop it strategically planned where they have A+ content that's rolling out and you need to see it, then they're going to kind of be boned and lose that many eyeballs on their product because we already subscribe to everything else that's been kind of like a dick about sharing passwords. So I mean, I understand as a business, you got to make money. You need people to pay for stuff. But
I mean, but how do they figure that out? Just because of like household, like IP addresses?
Yeah,
or, okay.
No, I mean, it's a lot easier for a streaming service to know who's paying and watching and who's not paying and watching than it is, say, like traditional television with the bunny ears antennas, or like who's watching it all, or even cable television, without one of those Nielsen boxes. They kind of estimate, but with streaming services, it is 100% IP address. That's your fingerprint. They know they could pull that data. Of course, it's massive, but they definitely have the technology to be able to figure that out. So
that'll be interesting in my household because we have technically 2 families living together, and I'm not going to pay for 2 Netflixes.
No, I mean, if it's still under the same IP,
that's what I'm hoping.
Yes, you're going to be able to get away with it, but it's a different IP addresses that
I stole from my parents.
I know.
Got it.
Right. And we, I mean, I never paid for Netflix. Right now I have, what are the services I have? I have Netflix, I have a Paramount Plus, which I pay for solely for the fucking challenge. Yes. I mean, honestly, I'm not really watching anything else on that.
We do that one for Nickelodeon stuff for the kids.
You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's great for the kids. For the adults who don't ever want to grow up, they watch Challenge. You know what I'm saying, Herb?
Yes, I do.
So I'm still pissed that they're not putting the new season on Paramount Plus. It doesn't make sense to me, but eventually it'll come on.
It'll get there.
Yeah. I've been watching the clips on YouTube. I'm seriously like, what's great about the challenge as far as for my job, it definitely gives me good ideas and creatively like sparks some things just based off the games and everything else. Yeah.
And they've upped it this last year or two. It's like, it's just they finally got money. The production values are better. The games are better.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's on top.
Yeah. I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Talking about MTV's A Challenge, Real World versus Road Rules Challenge.
Oh, they brought it back?
No, it never went away.
Oh, okay.
It's like season 40 or 30.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah.
So anyways, so we have that. HBO Max finally bit the bullet. We were borrowing a former coworker's account for a while. And then that person stopped paying for their HBO Max, and we were watching White Lotus, and we wanted to finish that out. So my girlfriend ended up subscribing to that, but totally worth it. And I feel like HBO Max is going to come out with some pretty good stuff here in the next year as well. HBO continues to deliver quality. And that's it. I'm not paying for Hulu. Oh, Disney Plus.
Yeah, you got to pay for Disney Plus.
Disney Plus asked me the same questions they asked you about,
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Now, they already knew my age because I was already kind of locked in there. But the one thing I wouldn't tell them was what I identify as. Because I'm not trying to give them any help because they essentially ask you for all your data information. And it's like the deal is, if you get the product for free, you are the product, right?
Yeah.
But if you're paying for the product, don't make me the fucking product, man.
Yeah.
And they just jacked up the price. So it was $6.99. Now I'm paying like $8.99, something like that. What are you paying?
Yeah, whatever it is. I mean, I mean, I don't get. I think the only thing I was getting, Hulu was giving it to me as a critic. I was getting Hulu, but everything else I pay for.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we have 8 because we have like Peacock for WWE stuff. And
yes, I got Peacock as well. I pay for that.
Yeah, Hulu for Fox stuff. Of course, Disney Plus for the kids. Like, I mean, I just counted. We have 8, of course, HBO Max. But yeah, it's so like when everything first came out, it was like, okay, this is the thing beyond cable. What is this going to be? And then by the time you're done paying for all the streaming services, like, shit, I should have had cable. Like,
and it's actually
the same
more
price.
than cable.
Yeah.
So
it is. Yeah. And you're just going to have to cut cable out altogether. Is YouTube TV a better option than cable?
I don't know. You know, I still can't figure out the whole, like, is there any value there at all? You know what I mean? It's just overwhelming when I go on YouTube, to be honest with you. It's just like this flood of like fire hose of stuff, you know?
Yeah, I just did the 3 months free, so I didn't have ads, and then that expires. Like, okay, that's done.
Yeah, well, that's just watching regular YouTube, but apparently they have YouTube TV that's kind of set up like cable.
How much is that one?
It's a little pricier, but you know, I don't think it's as pricey as cable. But the argument is now that they just starting to deal with the NFL, I think YouTube TV is going to be showing NFL games.
Really?
And then they're going to jack up the price.
Okay, that's good to know for my boyfriend for next season. So.
Yeah, NFL Sunday Ticket.
Okay.
Yeah, so and that's a big move for YouTube. You know, so that the final blow to cable? We'll find out. Is cable transitioning to streaming services? That's another question that we'll find out in time. So,
I mean, we don't pay for Peacock because of my parents' cable subscription. Like, it came free with it.
Oh, nice.
So, and then I think also Paramount.
They try to get you hooked on the cock.
Yeah.
The peacock. Such a weird, I mean.
I thought you were going to make a cock joke. Okay. Got it.
Need to. Yeah. I mean, why is every one of our like visually entertaining options named after a phallic feature?
Because of the patriarchy.
Oh yeah.
Just saying.
And why am I complaining? I'm on the winning team.
I'm not saying sit down. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I forgot. You got a vagina. You don't have a voice in this conversation. So
he turns my mic off.
And see.
Yes. All right. So there was a poll of the best movies of 2022. Out of that, what do you think came in as number one as far as the most popular movie of 2022, Herb Stratford?
Top Gun Maverick.
Yep. And
I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just saying that's what the poll would say.
You know, I did come across a story that was pretty funny, and I think Unilad was posting it, that China was trying to do like basically a knockoff Top Gun Maverick, but it was so complicated to really pull that off that they just gave up. Legitimately, that's what they're saying, because, you know, obviously Top Gun Maverick's whole gimmick, and anything Tom Cruise related, the gimmick is, hey, we really shot this, no CGI, right? We're really going to do this. We're really risking our lives to get this shot. And it was visually impressive, the flying scenes, and that's what you watch it for. And after a full year of dominating the box office, and then getting whatever extra rented revenue and milking that fucking cow dry, they're now releasing it on the streaming service. So you'll be able to see Top Gun Maverick on Paramount Plus this weekend. And that was 2022's most popular movie.
And also, it's going to be the box office champion, to be honest with you. There's no way for anything to overtake it. So its domestic U.S. haul, at least, is in like the high 600, 670 something.
Crazy.
That is going to be the highest. And I don't know if you saw this week, Cruise released a behind the scenes thing for the new Mission Impossible films that he's doing. He's doing number 7 and number 8. And it's this whole, it's like a 9-minute long piece where it's them talking about him jumping a motorcycle off of a cliff and then parachuting. And it's the guy still blows me away. I mean, he's 59, I think.
Yeah, he's good up there.
He's doing these stunts, and like, you know, it's him. I mean, 100%. They've got a drone off the edge of the cliff capturing him, so you can see that it's him jumping off the cliff in his motorcycle, and how he spent, you know, months of training. You know, he did like 60 skydives in one day. You know, I mean, it's just, the guy is insane.
We're talking about Tom Cruise. Obviously, it's Herb Stratford, film critic, joining us on the show, Rock 102.1. As we just revealed in a recent poll, the Top Gun Maverick was voted the most popular best film of 2022. And his whole gimmick is that he does all his own stunts. So at a certain point in his life, about 2 decades ago, he decided to stop focusing on acting and started becoming a stuntman who gets paid better than anybody, right?
Really well.
That's essentially what it is. And he just released a promotional video for Top Gun Maverick where he jumps out of an airplane again. He's so used to jumping out of airplanes.
Yeah.
And it was he was just calm as he's free falling to the earth. And then as he signs off, like, you know, enjoy Top Gun Maverick on Paramount Plus. And he does a little spin and goes off, and just like, Jesus, man, he's 59 years old. And I understand that Hollywood actors can continue to look young until they're, you know, should be super old and gray. But looking young doesn't change the fact that you're 59 years old. Your bones can't be that young. I don't care how many baby fetuses you're eating. Right? So it's almost impossible. Like, how many more years do you think we're going to see Tom Cruise do this?
You know, I don't know. I mean, I think he's got a couple in him, but I mean, at some point, I am noticing his face. He's looking a little more gaunt. You know what I mean? And so it's like he's not quite the super, you know, like a smooth guy that he used to be. So I don't know. I mean, and I have a feeling, honestly, that these next two Mission Impossible 7 and 8. They're filming them back to back.
Right.
And he's got Paramount by the short hairs. I mean, whatever you want, Mr. Cruise. So he's going to take advantage of that. But I think you're going to see him wind down. I think he's going to go out with a big bang as long as he doesn't kill himself.
That's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way he wants to go out and capture that on film. First off, he wants to be the first actor to like film in space, actually in space.
Yeah, no, he's going to do that with Doug Liman. Yeah, that is going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's the first in all these like crazy death-defying stunts that are caught on film. So yeah, I do think he's crazy enough to want to be the first actor to die on film and be featured, like the closing scene be the actual closing scene.
A snuff film, basically. A big budget snuff film.
Right. Yeah. And shut up and take my money.
Well, all the haters will go, right?
Yeah.
They're like, wow, we've got to watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, he did it.
Yeah, it is crazy. And a full calendar year it took, because Top Gun Maverick was released in 2021. They dominated in all of 2022, and it's only being released now a full year later, which is unheard of in the streaming age, when these movies are usually rushed to streaming services.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 9 to 12 weeks every time. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, that was good for them. Back to this poll, that one poll asked, talking about the best films of 2022. I'm just going to fire through these, and you're going to give me a quick review, right?
All right.
And I guess, let's do the grade scale, A through F.
All right.
Okay.
And whether I've seen it.
right. Well, I can say no to most of these because they're all kind of like not porn related. So, all right, coming in number 2, 17% people said Jurassic World Dominion.
C+.
Ooh, I think that's generous. All right, Enola Holmes 2 got 15%.
Didn't even watch it.
All right, Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Didn't watch it.
I did see that one.
Oh yeah, what would you give it?
An A. I loved it.
You're such a
weirdo.
nerd.
I love kids movies. I've got 5 kids. Like I don't get critical. I just have fun.
All right, you and Powers can go dork off together. The Batman.
That's a B+.
I did see that one.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Only 14% of people said that was the best movie of 2022. I mean, there's a lot of hype, a lot of buzz, and I enjoyed that film.
I did too.
I loved
Emo
it.
Batman.
Oh,
Right?
I loved it.
Yeah, this was somewhat of a letdown. Thor: Love and Thunder.
I think it was a B. It just nothing can ever hold up to Ragnarok, which I
Right.
thought was just brilliant. And I think and I love Taika. Me and Taika are tight.
Yeah,
right?
sure. Yeah, you met him once.
So I'm a little sad because I think a lot of what he does, I'm afraid he's going to get overexposed. He's going to do too much. So I'm
Right.
afraid that's just the crack in the armor. But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm afraid he's going to do too much ecstasy and not be as good. All right, the next one, Death on the Nile.
Just coming back from Egypt and we watched it again. It's all digital. It's no.
Not good.
No, C.
All right. This one hasn't even been released yet, but 11% of people say that it's the best movie of 2022, The Whale.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an A.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, it's a Brendan Fraser, and the prosthetics used. He plays basically a 600-pound guy.
Yeah.
Are absolutely unbelievable. You're like, what happened to him?
Yeah, that's crazy that they could put makeup on him and make him look 50 pounds heavier. It's nuts. Just kidding. We're keeping the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast. Be back with more Beef Vegan Presents after these words. Just bagging on Fraser.
Yeah. I forgot that the Batman came out this year.
Yeah.
Like, give me more of that Robert Pattinson is what I've been calling him. I thought he did great. I thought, I'd love to see the angle of more of the reclusive kind of Batman that was alluded to in a lot of different comic series.
Yeah.
Instead of just the big braggadocious, I'm the billionaire, whatever.
Yeah, look at my fancy toys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like,
no, you're right. And it's more of a detective story.
exactly.
than
Like
anything
getting back
else.
to that noir of
The
it.
gadgets are not even, I mean, the
Not
Batmobile
yet.
is just a souped up car.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not some crazy Joel Schumacher thing. Yeah.
Did
Well, I
James
mean-
Cameron sign off on more Batmans? They're still going to go with this?
Pattinson?
Or James Gunn?
Gunn. I don't know if they've figured that out yet. It's all still in flux. All of the DC stuff is in flux. But as a standalone, I feel like that and Joker
Yeah.
are both sort of like safe, right? Because
Yeah.
they're not sort of canon. I mean, they are, but they aren't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think Pattinson, he originally signed to do 3, is what I remember.
Oh, yes. Good. Well, and that would be nice because right now, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Let's finish out that vision. And of course, just like Batman, they had so many different kind of subgenres of Batman, different
Mhm.
styles of Batman.
Well, in the Pattinson movie, the Colin Farrell's
Yes.
Penguin has a spin-off series.
That's what I was about to ask.
Yeah, on
because he was
HBO Max, I think.
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Love-
that's
love
going to be
Colin
good too. Yeah. So who's behind the Penguin series?
I think it's HBO Max.
Yeah,
I
but
think.
like what director?
Oh, what
was this?
director? I don't know.
Not the director of the Batman?
I don't think so. I don't think it's Matt Reeves. I don't think he may produce it, but I don't know.
Yeah, okay. All right, so the most streamed movies, the most watched streaming only movies that came out this year, according to the one poll. First off, Tyler Perry's Medea Homecoming. Yeah.
My 13-year-old has watched that on repeat.
Oh,
Really?
no.
Yes, so that's the reason it's up that high. It's just my 13-year-old. Yes, loved it. I thought, I mean, times I would go in and out watching it. There was some good one-liners and things like that, but
Tyler Perry knows how to entertain an audience. I mean,
He does.
obviously.
I've never watched a Medea movie, but I will say when he's in movies where he's playing a serious actor, I think he's damn good.
oh, he's very good.
He's a fantastic thespian for sure. And he seems like it's just a quality person.
Yep.
So it's really hard. Initially, the hack thing to do and the bandwagon thing to do was the bag on Tyler Perry because Medea, the character, is just like, oh, this is how you made your living. But in reality, I think at a grand
billions.
scope, he made
Right.
billions.
He made billions and like created that town
He
and
built an
yeah.
industry.
Right. Oh,
Yeah,
huge
he made
industry.
He made Atlanta the film capital it is. Marvel has obviously added to that, but that was all Tyler Perry.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He built the studios.
Yeah.
The
created
new
a lot of
Hollywood.
jobs.
Yeah, the new Hollywood.
Mhm.
All thanks to Tyler Perry. So yeah, and in retrospect, in hindsight, there's nothing but great appreciation. And maybe those Medea movies will hold up over time. Like 100 years from now, go back, be like, you want to see a cinematic classic? It's Medea's Halloween Adventure. Like, you know,
and get
whatever.
this, it's actually a dude.
Yeah, Just like Shakespeare days, right?
Right.
Yeah. All right. Enola Holmes 2. That was 18% of people watch that somehow. I don't get that.
You know, the first one I watched it and I was just like, eh. So when
Right.
they announced the second one, I'm like, no, I'm not interested.
Right. You've been out. Been out. Yes. This was good news. I still haven't seen this yet. I'm kind of disappointed I haven't, and I have to figure out a way how. Weird. The Al Yankovic story.
I want to
It's
see that.
good. It's so good. And it's so weird. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so on brand. It's like you watch
Yes.
it and you're just like, what is going on?
Right. Because at first you're like, wait, he was never an alcoholic. Like, what is this? And it's like, no. It's literally Weird Al being Weird Al.
Yeah.
Like the parody of everything.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's brilliant. It really is. And I think it should have got more attention. And at first the casting spooked me, but he nails it.
Daniel
Oh my
Radcliffe.
gosh, he's so
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
that's,
on Roku?
that's the reason why.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
Roku was really banking on it. It's not like they spent a lot of money on this. In fact, Radcliffe, is notorious for his roles that he's picking. He made so much Harry Potter money. I don't think he even wants to get paid. He just wants to pick
Right.
out cool stuff.
Right. And he's done some great stuff since Harry Potter.
Hell
But,
yeah.
that's like Elijah Wood. Elijah Wood does the weirdest stuff. If you
Mhm.
look at his filmography, he does these really strange horror movies. He's a genre guy, right? And he's just like, you know what? Love me for the Lord of the Rings all you want. This is what I love.
Yeah.
Is that really why? I thought that's his choice. It's not.
Yeah. Oh no, he
Hollywood's
loves
choice?
this stuff. He
Yeah. Okay.
loves it. Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe and Elijah Wood, they get compared a lot too, where I think they have a running gag where they will actually sign each other's names.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah, because they're both dainty guys. I do love Wilfred. Wilfred was a great show. All right, cheaper. In fact, actually, let's get real quick back on Elijah Wood. Yeah, I've watched plenty of his indie films, and I always enjoy them. And there's one that I've been seeing pop up on my Amazon with Nicolas Cage. I think it's called like The Trust or something like that I have to watch. Have you even heard of this movie? This came out like 3-4 years ago.
No, that's not ringing a bell.
That's the thing, dude. That's what's so crazy about this Elijah Wood. He's just cranking out films that fly under the radar. But
There's
you're
a
like-
movie with him and Melanie Linsky, who I adore, called "I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore," and it's this sort of weird. I saw it at Sundance years ago, and it's just this great movie about this woman, Melanie Linsky. Her house gets robbed, and she just feels, unsettled about the whole thing. And then her friend is Elijah Wood, and he just goes off and just becomes this like crazy like revenge guy. It's amazing, but it's this genre pick, right? That nobody really saw. And you can tell that, and a lot of people say that, like I think Melanie says it's one of her favorite movies she's ever done.
yeah, what's the name of that again?
I Don't Feel at Home in This World.
Yes, I saw that, and
Yeah.
I saw it more than once.
So good,
very
right?
good, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was the perfect weirdo in that.
Yes.
He looked weird and then just nailed it. And yeah, that was a great film.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm sold on Elijah Wood. I thought it was just his career fell off and he was taking whatever kind of weird work he would get. But
no, I think
yeah.
these are choices for him.
then did he get a back-end deal with Lord of the Rings? Is that why?
I don't know what their deal was. I mean, I'm sure that they didn't make enough money for what they did, specifically him.
Well, he was fucking Frodo, bro.
Yeah, I mean, He got paid. It wasn't enough because he deserved more. But, that movie was his movie. I mean, literally, he's in almost every scene. So, yeah.
I'm going to Google Elijah Wood's net worth. Go ahead and ask your question there.
So Daniel Radcliffe with his Guns Akimbo.
Oh, yeah.
That was amazing.
That's a crazy movie.
I was like, all right, let's give it a try, whatever. And then within 10 minutes, I'm like, all right, this is kind of slow. And then it took off.
Yeah.
But it just was such a good reflection of like how obsessed with the social media we are and like how it was so good.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And it's a total underground movie. You can see that if it would not have gotten made if he didn't do that.
Yes.
Right. And he was perfect for it.
Oh, yeah. So good. And he just dove right into it and fully committed.
Yeah. No, that's an awesome film.
All right. So Elijah Wood's net worth is $20 million, right? So
that's nothing.
That is nothing, right? Daniel Radcliffe's net worth, $110 million. So Daniel Radcliffe had a far better agent than Elijah Wood. Elijah Wood was a child actor as well. Like, give the man.
But think about it. If you're Harry Potter, 8 Harry Potter movies. I mean,
yeah, and his salary is allegedly $15 million, but I guarantee you he didn't get paid that for weird. I bet you got paid $100,000 and he was happy to do it.
Right, right. He's like, it's an honor. It's actually, let me pay you $100,000 to do this.
Underpay me so I can do it as a tax write-off. Doesn't matter. I'm $110 million insane.
Did they release it on DVD at all? Like, that's me going old school because I want to watch it, but we don't have Roku.
I don't know.
Or maybe
if they're
we
even,
can pay for it.
No,
they're not even doing that anymore. You know what I mean? Like they milk none of the Disney Plus Star Wars stuff is ever going to be out on DVD, right? Because they want you to stream it, which is sort of a bummer.
True, but I'll tell you this: for Roku, this was an experiment to see if they can increase subscribers. If they did not do that, they'll still figure out a way to financially gain from this because they know they got a hot commodity. So either they'll lease it or do a deal to release it on Netflix or different streaming services once they realize the writing's on the wall.
It's going to come out, but you got to remember some of this Roku stuff is left over from the Quibi thing, right? So it was like meant for a different platform, your phone, and it just the whole thing went belly up. So Swimming with Sharks was another one, and then this one. So Roku, they're dribbling this stuff out because they bought all this IP and they got to do something with it. But you're right, I think they're going to look for ancillary chains to try and continue to make money on it.
Yeah, because I just looked it up. Like you can't get it through Amazon. You can't it is just on the Roku channel.
Yeah. Damn. As they get through, they have to get through Christmas. Honestly, the business structure is hopefully some last minute people will say, "Here's a Roku for Christmas," so you can watch weird. I don't know.
Can you download it as an app?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
All right. Well, you Google that, figure that out, and then find someone who has a Roku password you can steal. But I don't know.
Or maybe there's like a 7-day trial and I just get it for 2 hours, then cancel it.
Yeah.
They're like, we know what you did.
Yeah. And in fact, I think I have one in my guest bedroom that I'll just see if it's on there because I do need to see it. Power Saw it said it was fantastic as well. Yeah. All right. The Oscars shared their short list, and we'll talk about some of those here on the air. You already say The Whale, hands down, is going to be in the front runner for a lot of these awards.
I think it's interesting. Best Picture is always hard because Best Picture, all the branches vote on, right? And then like actors vote on actors, cinematographers vote on cinematographers, editors, costume. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit easier to pick the awards that are going to go to individual, like Best Actor, Best Actress. You know what I mean? Things like that than Best Picture. I think that Brendan Fraser is hands down the guy who should be walking up to the stage for Best Actor.
Right.
It's just, and it's that old adage, right? You play somebody who has a disability, right? Think about Dustin Hoffman and Rain Man, whatever. That's sort of your ticket. If you can do it, you're generally going to get it.
And that's the thing. So as Hollywood transitions, right, it's almost a faux pas to play somebody with a mental disability because they just say you can't do that anymore, right? It's just inappropriate. So now they're like, well, what can we do? We can't, have a straight white guy play a gay guy or have him play a different ethnicity. What can we do? Well, you can still kind of mock the fat. Oh, fuck yeah. All right. There you go. There's our next disability is that of the morbidly obese.
I think it is.
Yeah. And that's where you go. I mean, obviously, it's going to be an emotional story. I think it will connect with a lot of people around the world, mostly Americans. And, we could all just get sad together while eating our popcorn with extra butter. Like,
it's true. It's true. No, honestly, like I think that's a really interesting thing. I wonder if concession sales will go down for The Whale because, I mean, how bad are you going to feel sitting there stuffing your fat face, right? Watching a movie about a guy that's morbidly obese. He doesn't leave the house. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, really.
It's Herb Stratford. We're talking about The Whale and how the Hollywood faux pas is that you can't have actors playing people with mental disabilities anymore, i.e. Rain Man, things like that. And but the next disability that you can have actors play and win all the awards are that of the morbidly obese. But Herb brought up an interesting point saying how much will the concessions go down when this movie's in the theater where people are like literally catching themselves mid handful of popcorn and like, wait a second. This is not good. This food thing might be overrated. I don't want to end up like Brandon Fraser in The Whale, but he is 600 pounds. Yeah, and obviously to get to that point is an extreme.
You know, and the thing is, it's not, you know, it's not a feel-good movie. You know what I mean? Like, you're not walking into there thinking like a popcorn movie, right? It's not like a Marvel movie where like, yeah, I want to be entertained. You know, it's like, it's pretty somber.
I'm going to feel some feelings.
Yeah. You know, I love the
feelings.
mystery of this plot line. You know, it's a giant man searching for his penis. Will he ever find it? Who knows?
It's an autobiography film for Beef.
So,
why you throw me under the bus there, weirdo? I didn't do anything to you.
Oh,
Jesus.
Get my last zinger in for the year.
Well, and the interesting thing too is the other main character. Well, it's basically this is based on a play, and we can talk about it right now briefly because you're not going to be here next week. But
yeah,
it's based on a play, and so there's really three characters or four characters in this film. One is Brendan Fraser, one is his estranged daughter, one is his friend, and then there's also another character. But the other main character really is Sadie Sink, who is the breakout of the last season of Stranger Things, the red-haired girl.
Okay,
right?
yeah, she's in this. Okay,
so she is on fire. Everything she's doing is just she's blowing up. So this is going to be another. You know, she has the potential to be nominated too. So this is just. It's awards bait, but it's very well done. It's an amazing film. He's remarkable.
Nice. Well, I love it, and I am excited to see it. There's a lot of things I'm excited to see, including the Avatar 2, and we went through the whole entire list. So we still have a couple more things that we'll mention on the podcast broadcast. Have a few words we'll share on the air. Be back with your Christmas beef tip before we head off to a 2-week vacation. So keep it right here. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. I have a legit a beef tip too that is Christmas related that will end the show on strong.
Very
strong. And you know, you helped me, both Weirdo and you, Herb, have helped me close out this show strong, and I appreciate that because honestly, mentally, just not there today.
No. Words were hard.
You know, that we're happy to be here, right?
Well, you know, in my defense, right, beyond the Christmas shopping and all the extra BS that I've had to do, I worked the hockey game last night, which we won, which is good. And that adds to it. It's always difficult the night after, because I go to bed so late and kind of like, you know, and my throat's hurting, so it takes me a while, and my brain's too hot. You're right, Todd. that's why I shouldn't be wearing a beanie, and I knew that going into it. I'm like, shit, because he's right. He
said
made
this at
point.
like 6:30 this morning.
No, I know, but Todd said this to me like last week, and I was wearing a beanie like of every day of the week, and I was just kind of off, and he's like, you need to take that fucking beanie off, man, and go back to the snapback. It's a different presentation. And you know, he said it in jest, but there was a little bit of truth there, of course. And sure enough, I switched to the snapback, and I'm just nailing teases, hitting posts, cracking jokes that are making sense, saying words completely. You know what I mean? Like
completely incorrectly.
Yeah, well, you know, still on brand, but
yeah. Hey, so I looked it up. You can download the Roku mobile app.
Okay.
And I signed up for free.
All right.
Signed up for free, and it was ready to go. So
you're gonna watch some Weird Al this weekend.
Heck yeah, I am.
All right.
The fact that your name is Weirdo and you haven't seen Weird.
I know.
Yeah,
well, now I figured out I can download the Roku app for free.
Yeah. All right. Nice.
So how
That's
are they
good
making money off of that?
They're not. That's a problem.
They're not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think they're trying to figure out what that model is, because I mean, you know, who's going to pay for another thing?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, luckily we don't need a sequel to Weird, but we will get that stuff. We will get Weird on other streaming services. I guarantee it. I promise you.
I think it's going to be Prime, honestly, is where everything ends up.
That's true. Yes. And for you first, you might be able to rent it. And then afterwards, you'll probably be able to see it for free. Amazon needs all the properties and you know, IP they can get. And they have the the budget for it too. What about the Lord of the Rings for Amazon? Was that the biggest financial flop of the year?
Well, so it's called The Rings of Power.
Okay,
so everybody
yeah.
knows how to look for it. I don't know. I watched the first 1 or 2 episodes, and then I was distracted on 4,000 other things I had to watch. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back. I'm going to watch it all. And so, but yes, it's a huge disappointment.
Yes.
I think the rub on it is they spent a lot of money, so it looks good, but it was too slow.
Mhm.
And they were overestimating the hunger, right? You know what I mean? For the nostalgia for this. So I found it interesting just because I was like, okay, cool. There's backstories. There's interesting stuff here, but I need to just binge it, right? And I just don't have time.
Did you watch all of House of Dragons?
Oh yeah,
See,
absolutely.
There's the difference.
I got 2 episodes left of that.
Well, so that's the difference, and that's why you know there was a flop, because if you were really into it, you would have watched that entire series, and they're in the same genre.
Yeah.
And then Amazon did put all their money into thinking that there was a large market for people who are nostalgic for the books. Like we are becoming a generation that continues to love reading, as opposed to the fucking opposite.
Right.
You know what I'm
I want to
saying?
know how much money they spent on the packaging tape that had the Rings of Power. That's still every Amazon package still has that. Like they spent so much money.
Insane amount of money, right? And yeah, people haven't talked about it. Of course, when House of Dragons came out, again, same genre. And
they moved that along.
People were talking about that, wouldn't stop talking about it, wouldn't shut the fuck up about it, actually. And they watched it.
Here's the thing. So Prime, this was their big bet, right? They spent $750 million, okay, $750 million for 2 seasons, right? So, that's a lot of money. I mean, I got to say, I was just reading the Taylor Sheridan interview yesterday about 1923, which is the spinoff series for Yellowstone, which has Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren in it. They're spending $30 to $35 million an episode for TV.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the budgets now are just nuts. And I mean, I don't know how you get it back. I really don't.
Yeah, because most of these people already have the streaming service.
Hold on real quick. New Year's, we're going to do the taco drop. Roger Klein, the Peacemakers. I might even do like pre-party. I'll hit you up if I'm in town. And if you guys want to link up, party downtown with us on New Year's. Manny, Anthony, Nick, all the streamers, hit me up. I'll be around town. It'd be great to get together and party it up on New Year's. Let's wrap up the show because we're running out of time. Herb, thank you again, dude.
Yeah,
I missed you.
Yeah,
I missed
thank
you.
you. Yeah,
and real quick, 69 XXX Life. Best adult side. Thanks.
Way to sign off the year.
I know we are back on the air. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this year. We're right out of time this year. But we will return next year. And I appreciate and I want to thank everybody who listened to the show, told their friends to tune into this show, won tickets from this show, laughed to this show, got mad at this show, anything that had to do with this show and you participating and be a part of our family. We thank you. Can't thank you enough. And we wish you the most happiest holidays and happy new year that you can get. We'll be back January 9th, and we'll be hitting the ground running, looking to do bigger and better things in 2023. But before I leave you, I'd like to give you a final beef tip here for the holidays. According to Psychology Today, did you know that Christmas movies are literally good for the body and mind? Yeah, those cute Christmas movies, they're good for us. And this has been proven through psychological studies. So if you want to reconnect with people after seeing, your family, get together, watch a Christmas movie together. You'll feel better mentally and physically. Somehow it's good for the body. Don't ask me to give you the details. I'm just the messenger. I'm not half-brained, but at least I have a happy brain because I watched a Christmas movie yesterday. So I suggest you do the same. Weirdo, thank you so much for coming in. Herb, as always, thank you. I thank you guys for listening. Robin Nash is up next. Enjoy the rest of your day and your holidays. And as always, drive safe, ride safe, and rock local. Almost stuck the landing.
Thanks, beef.
Yay. Upon a side of beef.
I started getting all sad and emotional, like get choked up. Thank you guys so much for being here.
I will knock out all your teeth.